Hey everybody, Dave here with
Another Dave.
the Average Dave's Movie and TV Talk. I'm Dave, and that's the other Dave.
I'm here.
And today is episode 9. Can't believe it.
The Rise of Palpatine.
Yeah, I can't believe we're actually at 9.
Well, I mean, we should be on like 12. But
Yeah, well, we've missed a few, but whatever.
somebody kept canceling.
Hope everybody's enjoying the
nice warm summer.
shows so far and enjoying the summer. Got anything to say before we get into our first stuff?
Hi.
So, for the intro, our first subject today is actually Shrek 5 has just been announced.
This is literally news to me. I learned it 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, so that's been announced for July 1st of 2026, and the original cast of Eddie Murphy and Mike Myers and Cameron Diaz are coming back. I really enjoyed the first two Shreks.
I honestly don't remember anything past the first one.
See,
And I've seen them.
Yeah.
But they were just wholly forgettable. Like I
3 and
don't.
4 were bad.
I don't remember if they were good, bad. I'm just.
The first one was great.
Yeah, the first one was great, but it was also very grounded in the time that it was made. Because all of its references were, you had Matrix references and crap.
yeah.
I mean,
And the good thing about
except
it
for like the
is
Robin Hood reference.
you had enough adult humor in it.
Oh yeah.
But you also had the kid humor that the kids could catch.
Mm-hmm.
I first Shrek I thought was excellent.
It was excellent.
Yeah,
It's still funny.
yeah. Oh yeah, I could watch Shrek today and laugh. Matter of fact, actually 2 weeks ago, I think, or 3 weeks ago, my grandkids and I watched it, and I was having a blast, and they were having a blast with it.
I watched the movie 2 nights ago that I haven't seen in probably like 10 years, and it was hilarious.
What's that?
Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber.
That
was good, but what is it? Dumb and Dumberer?
the one that they actually did was Dumb and Dumber 2,
Yeah, that
spelled
was bad.
T-O.
That was bad.
That was horrible. And then even like the Dumb and Dumber, which is like the prequel when Harry met Lloyd, that was really bad too.
Yeah, but Dumb and Dumber, you can laugh at that movie.
Oh yes, it is hysterical.
And that was Jim Carrey at his
Yeah.
peak. Right in that
Would you say that was better than Ace Ventura? Because I think that was peak Jim Carrey.
That's a good question.
Just because he had more body humor, and that's
what makes
he
Jim
like does a
Carrey,
lot
though,
of
is his body humor,
like
his physical humor.
his face is made of silly putty.
Yeah, his physical humor that he can do is unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know, he kind of reminds me of Dick Van Dyke for his physical humor, the old Dick Van Dyke back in the days, where he had that physical ability to do comedy. Jim Carrey, I don't know, that's a toughie. I think Cable Guy might actually be his peak for me.
Really?
Yeah, I
mean,
enjoyed that movie.
it's a great movie. I don't know if it's better than Ace Ventura. Dumb and Dumber.
But yeah, Ace Ventura is a good movie. Next on the list is Netflix just released Beverly Hills Cop Axel F.
Foley.
It had the originals of Eddie Murphy, Judge Reinhold, and John Ashton, but they also had J. Gordon-Levitt and Kevin Bacon. I like J. Gordon-Levitt. I think he's an underestimated actor.
I love Kevin Bacon. I think he's got the best last name in Hollywood.
Bacon. Did you watch the Guardians Christmas special?
No.
No? He was excellent in that.
He was in it?
Yeah. He's actually, if you remember, do you remember in any of the Guardians movies where they talk about Kevin Bacon?
Oh, yeah.
Well, he makes it in this episode, and it is hilarious.
Outstanding.
If you haven't seen the Guardians Christmas special, you really should watch it. That was actually one of the last things Marvel has done that was actually really
Was
good.
Guardians 3 phase 4 or 5? Or are they even doing 5?
4. 5 starts
Soon? With whatever they're going to lead it on. Wait,
I think that
the Marvels, didn't that like end 4 or something?
Yeah.
Or, really, like what it did was end the
Marvels
MCU.
was horrible. But I think Captain America, the new Captain America film, or Secret Wars, or whatever they're calling it, with the new look of Captain. That's bad. I don't like the new look of Captain America at all.
With Anthony Mackie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The new look, new outfit. Not a fan. But anyways, back to Axel F. It was pretty good. It was decent, good humor, classic Axel Foley. But the script and the plot were subpar. They were still trying to use some of that 80s humor. It just wasn't hitting.
I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to.
Yeah, it just wasn't hitting. I would give it a C minus maybe.
Well, that sounds like a ringing endorsement, Dave. Thank you.
But it had some really good
Axel
parts.
Foley, half a thumb up.
But it had some really good parts. I mean, Eddie Murphy, there's another actor back in the 80s.
Well, not just actor. He was basically the king of the world.
Yeah.
I mean, stand up in the 80s.
Speaking of, remember last episode, we were talking about DEI, politically correct crap. Can you imagine if they did Eddie Murphy Raw now? Did you ever see Raw?
Oh, yeah.
His can't. People would have meltdowns over that stuff now. So, but yeah, if you
like I said, America's lost a sense of humor.
yeah,
It has.
yeah. If you haven't seen it, check out Axel F. And I mean, did you finally watch Netflix Tom Brady burn the roast?
I wasn't know I was supposed to.
Oh, I didn't know if you did or not. If you remember anything, you remember all the old roasts. Have you ever watched really roasts?
I've never really been a big roast guy.
I love roasts, and they finally came back full 100% roast. I mean, they chewed apart everybody and anybody that was attached to Brady, Gronk, Brady's wife, Belichick, everybody, and it was brutal, and it was funny.
That's just terrible. Making fun of poor Gronk like that. Because, Gronk catch ball. Gronk catch ball. And that is what Gronk do.
But he was a smart businessman.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he just looks
Never
like an
cashed a
idiot.
paycheck. He made all his money off his endorsements. You can tell me that's not good. So our main topic for today will be the top 10 movies or TV shows that you could not make today.
For whatever
Yeah,
reason.
various reasons, political correctness, DEI, anything like that. We've actually talked about this list for a while.
Yeah, it was just kind of like, we're talking about movies, and it's like, yeah, well, they couldn't do that today.
Well, I think last video we actually mentioned the line from Kindergarten Cop that you could never say in this day and age.
What line was that, Dave?
The boys have
Oh,
penises,
my goodness.
girls have vaginas. You couldn't say that in this day and age.
How dare they? That is so transphobic.
Yep. So if you want to get started with your first two honorable mentions, and we'll go from there.
Sure. My first honorable mention, I went with The Dukes of Hazzard, 1979. And the main reason that could be made today is the General Lee, proudly adorning the old stars and bars,
Yep.
would send soy boys and gender study majors into a tizzy.
Very much so.
Because,
Because other than that, other than being a bunch of Southern rednecks, the show's not that bad. But they actually, I collect Jada diecast cars, Hollywood cars and stuff like that.
the General Lee is one of the most iconic cars
You cannot
from
get it
TV.
now. You cannot get it
It's-
now.
it is
one that
absolutely ridiculous.
The one that I've had now for probably 10 years, the Jada diecast. I think I paid like $19 for it. Go on eBay right now, it's like $300.
Yeah, wonder why.
Yeah, and all because it has the stars.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
How dare they?
Yeah. Yeah.
Shut up. My number two honorable mention was Song of the South, originally came out in 1946. This is the first movie I ever went to see in the movie theaters. And Uncle Remus?
Uncle Remus, Briar Fox, Briar Bear.
Yeah. Because
I like the movie.
I honestly don't remember it. It was the first movie that I saw. My grandmother, who took me to see it, said that I really, really enjoyed it. I don't remember it, and you can't find it now to rewatch it.
They haven't released. I think they'll never release it from their vault again. Disney.
It was re-released in theaters in 1986.
Right. It was,
and that's when I saw it.
It was like probably
3.
35, 40 years ago when it was released.
Yeah.
But it's in their vault, and they have said they will never re-release that again.
Because, God forbid.
Yeah.
It is
mean,
too offensive.
Yeah, but I can remember it's been probably 25 years since I've seen it. And
I think taking a movie that was made and just closing it off so that nobody can watch it is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It is absolutely ridiculous.
Well, if you watch Disney movies now, and
They should be sealed away for no one to watch because...
But what I'm saying is, if you watch some of their old ones now, they start off with, this movie was made in a different time, blah, 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 blah. Stop. But that's what we've come to in this day and age, where you got to, worry about everybody's feelings.
I can't wait till Elon buys Disney.
Well, that'd be a blast.
That'll be hilarious.
We're hoping Elon Musk buys Disney, by the way.
Or at least save Star Wars from it.
Yeah, buy Star Wars out from them,
Yeah.
please. So my my first honorable mention is Police Academy from 1984. That had Steve Guttenberg, Kim Cattrall, Mike Winslow, G.W. Bailey. It had racial jokes, sexist jokes, and in this day and age, the politically correct crowd doesn't like police officers.
Oh God, no.
The whole Black Lives Matter thing over the Back to Blue thing, they would have a fit if you actually did a movie like this now.
Yeah.
Where you had fun with cops. They wouldn't allow it. I don't think a studio would even think about it now.
Oh, no. There's no way that it would get funded. No way.
My number 2 on my honorable mention list is Airplane from 1980, starring Julie Haggerty, Robert Hayes, Peter Graves, Lloyd Bridges. Another movie, equal opportunity offender. Sexual jokes, racial jokes, religious jokes.
I started watching that movie a couple years ago. It just wasn't hooking me.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a 1980 style movie. It's definitely that type of comedy.
Well, I like 80s stuff, but
honestly, I love Airplane. Airplane is a classic.
Airplane, it just seemed kind of weird.
It is a weird movie.
Yeah, it
is a very weird movie. But when you have Lloyd Bridges and Peter Graves, who are actually pretty serious actors playing some of these comedic roles, and when they get talking about the boy in the cockpit and stuff, it's, I mean, it's classic. Never in a million years would they be allowed to make that now.
And we didn't put these in any particular order.
Yeah, right.
We just did, based on their offensiveness.
Yeah.
But for my number 10, I went with Short Circuit, 1986. And the main problem with that was Fisher Stevens, he's a white guy, used brown face to play an Indian character named Ben. Yeah. And he has apparently since gone on to say that he regrets it. And it's a movie. You got a part. You don't really regret it. You're just saying it.
What was the TV series where they had the Indian character that was being played by the white guy animated? So that's not South Park.
No, that was Simpsons.
And they had a meltdown.
Well, yeah. God,
People had a meltdown over that.
What's his name? The guy who voiced Apu.
Who?
Apu.
Yeah, I don't know who it was. I don't watch that show.
You watch Simpsons?
No, I've never been a Simpsons fan ever.
Well, apparently, whoever voices him, God, I forget his name. I used to know them all back when I really watched The Simpsons like 20 years ago. Now I don't even know.
I mean, all I know is they went ape shit over it.
Yeah, but apparently I don't think he's doing the role anymore, and that's just wrong. Yeah. It's just the dude has done it for like 20-something years before that, or 30 years before that.
Somebody had a little bitch fit, and they
probably like 6 people on Twitter brought it up, and
it's ridiculous.
My number 9 is, you covered it earlier, Police Academy, 1984, and it's one of the funniest movies of the 80s, would be seen today as offensive by the modern audience due to most of the females being little more than sex objects. Also, anything giving a little bit of levity to policing is a problem today. Yeah. And it's because, they can't stand the police.
But so funny. I would say it's by far the best out of the Police Academy run. There's what, 5?
I think there's like 7.
Yeah, maybe. I lost interest, I think, after the 3rd or 4th one. I mean, my favorite character was Huckleberry. I loved him. Not a huge role in it, but he was great.
Yeah. And he was huge.
Yeah. So my number 10.
Oh, wait a minute. No, wait. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Hightower.
Tackleberry is the guy with the guns. Guns.
He was a gun nut.
Yep. And there's the other. You have a character that's a gun nut.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you can't have guns.
Come with me.
Yeah, can't have guns. Guns are bad. But whatever. That's a whole subject for a different time. So my number 10 is South Park. Yes, I know it's still running, but if it was new, I do not believe they would ever allow it to be made now.
Yeah.
Because South Park is definitely a equal opportunity offender. They will blast.
South Park, they really lay into the liberal nuts stuff.
Yeah, but they blast everybody.
Oh yeah, they do.
Their last couple specials where do you ever watch the COVID special?
Yep.
That was great.
When Cartman's walking around with his freaking 6-foot ruler.
Yeah, it was
fantastic.
Great. It was fantastic. Where they went after Disney.
Oh,
it was great.
You know what? It was good, but I feel like they pumped the brakes a little bit at the end.
They did.
Like, instead of like sticking the landing, I think they sort of stumbled a little bit.
But supposedly they got another one coming out against Disney, The View. They're going like after a lot of these.
Nuts?
Yeah, these people.
Because they're nuts?
But I don't think a company now would allow South Park to be made.
No.
It's fresh,
No.
right from the start.
No.
But they've been like that since day one. They've been after everybody. But one of my favorite is the COVID special. That was right in the heat of COVID. They came out with this, and it was great.
Yeah, it was. And you know what? People needed that.
Yeah, they
because
did.
we weren't getting much of anything fun then.
No.
So,
Shut down, don't do anything, stay away from people, but let's keep, the big stores open.
oh yeah,
But not you can't have the
Because-
little stores open, but keep the Walmarts and
because they're essential.
yeah, it's all money. COVID was all about money.
Oh, did you do your first two?
Yeah.
My number 8 was The Bad News Bears from 1976.
Oh, good movie. Good movie.
It is a overlooked gem, but a 1970s gem of a comedy would unlikely be picked up by studios today due to underage drinking and insensitivity and racist language. And it is racist, but it's friggin' hysterical.
Oh yeah.
It was remade in 2005, but was far inferior to the original.
That was Walter Matthau.
Walter Matthau and
Jodie Foster was in that, right? The original? No, not Jodie
No,
Foster.
she wasn't.
O'Neill.
I don't know.
Man,
I just remember Walter Matthau from it.
yeah.
But the 2005 with Billy Bob Thornton, it wasn't bad.
No, but they didn't.
It was
do-
severely toned.
Oh yeah, no, they cut that
Toned
down
back.
a lot. But that original is a great movie. Walter Matthau was awesome.
Yeah.
He was so good.
Coach Buttermaker?
Yeah, it was
Morris Buttermaker?
great movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
Yeah, if you haven't seen it,
would not be.
watch it.
Yeah, would not be.
It's a
made now.
wonderful movie.
Yep.
My number 7 is Breakfast at Tiffany's, 1951, and it's Mr. Yunioshi, enough said.
Yeah.
Played by, what was it, Mickey Rooney?
Yeah, Mickey Rooney. Yeah.
I mean, this is the only thing I put on here that I've never actually seen. I haven't
No.
seen many movies from the 50s, but
Seen it in
I
years.
have seen clips of Mickey Rooney playing the Japanese landlord, and it's
I mean, if we went back to the 30s, 40s, 50s, we could name
yeah.
100 movies right then that could never
Yeah.
be made now.
oh yeah,
Uh,
but
the old westerns where you had white people.
oh yeah,
playing,
white people played every role.
idiots, yeah.
But yeah, go ahead.
So my number 8 is Married with Children from 1987 to 1997. Ed O'Neill, Katie Seagal, Christina Applegate, and David Faustino. No way.
Awesome
Awesome show. For everything they did, he would pick on everybody. Everybody. White, black, fat, skinny, your feet stink. He went after everybody.
Shoe
but-
salesman, and he was hysterical.
But so did everybody else in the series. They were all, I mean, the brother and sister get after each other. There's
Yeah.
no way some of the things they said to each other would be allowed.
The mom is a complete idiot.
Yeah.
It's
There's
funny.
no way that show will be made. I actually saw an interview with Ed O'Neill, and he's like, yeah, no, they would never allow me to do that again.
You know what I have in my truck right now, Dave? I have the complete collection of Married with Children on DVD.
It's such a good show.
But I saw it at Walmart one day, like, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. It was like $25 for every episode on DVD. I was like, yeah. Thank you.
The sexual jokes in that. What was the neighbor, the girl there?
What's her name, Darcy?
Darcy. The stuff he would say to her.
Oh, God. And the fact that her husband never took her side. He would always just laugh
laughing.
at him.
He just always took his side over his wife. Yeah, people would flip out.
Awesome show, though.
Oh, it's a great show.
Awesome show.
Great show. And
Worth the binge.
yeah. Oh, yeah. And my next show, you've already hit on this, was Dukes of Hazzard from 79 to 85. Tom Wopat, John Snyder, Catherine Bach, and Denver Pyle.
What was so problematic about that, Dave?
Yeah, well, let's see. The Confederate flag. That was the big
Oh,
thing.
my God.
That's the big
How
thing.
dare they?
Yeah, that's the big thing about that movie. Do you remember when they did the movie with,
Oh, yeah.
what's the name from Jackass?
Was Johnny Knoxville in it?
Was it Johnny?
I thought it was Ashton Kutcher and
No, it wasn't
Sean
Ashton Kutcher,
William
was it?
Scott or something.
I don't remember now.
Stifler.
It was Stifler was one of them.
I thought it was Ashton Kutcher, but I could be wrong.
But I'll look that up while you're going on to your next one. But remember when they were driving through the city with the General Lee?
I've only seen it the one time.
They were driving through the city
it was
with the
years
General
ago when
Lee,
it
and
came
people were calling them racist and stuff for driving the car. They had to put that in there, But I loved the TV show. Loved it as a kid. Waylon Jennings singing the theme song.
I remember just watching reruns back in like the mid '80s on our old friggin' tube television, like banging on the side and adjusting the antenna, and it was like Dukes of Hazzard and like Gilligan's Island. I would watch reruns of both of them.
Johnny Knoxville.
Oh, okay.
Yep, Johnny Knoxville. That's what I thought.
I thought it was
The movie was okay.
Yeah, it was
the TV show was great, but it would never be allowed to be made now.
Who was the girl? Was it Jessica?
Jessica Simpson.
Jessica Simpson.
Yeah. All right.
All right, where am I at? Number 6, All in the Family. 1971. Carol O'Connor as Archie Bunker is an absolute legend, but he was pretty openly racist. And hearing his problematic language today would send college students scrambling to their safe spaces.
Oh, yeah.
Because it would.
I can remember sitting in my grandfather's living room, him watching that show and laughing from start to end.
That's mainly how I saw it. Would be at my grandparents' house, and they would be watching it.
But same time you had Sanford and Son, Chico and the Man. They were all that type
Sanford
of
and Son.
Yeah, they were all that
the
type
Jeffersons
of comedy
back then.
Yeah,
right?
the Jeffersons. They were all that. That's what it was.
You know what show my grandfather absolutely loved? Family Matters.
Family.
He loved Steve Urkel.
Yeah.
He loved that kid.
I never got into that.
Oh, it was such a great show, and mainly because my grandfather was watching it, and I would just watch it there with him, and it was just awesome.
I can remember going with my grandfather. He was the general manager of the Gilbert Mill here in Ludlow, the old Willow Mill up on Andover Street that's no longer there. I can remember going with him Sunday mornings, and he'd go downtown, he'd buy donuts and bring them up to the guys that were working in the boiler, that were there. And what they would talk about and laugh at each other and they pick on each other, you could never do that now. The way they did.
It really does happen. You just can't put it into movies.
Right.
Because they don't want reality anymore. They want their
Fantasy.
reality.
Fantasy.
Yeah.
They want fantasy.
They want their reality, which is a fantasy.
Yeah, it's a fantasy.
Number 5 for me, Mad Men. Started in 2007. And that is a show that takes place in the 1960s in an ad agency in New York. And it depicts all of the executives as drunks and womenizers. And they all live in the suburbs with their families, and they all have their shagging apartments in the cities that they would bring their secretaries to, or some models that they met on some shoot.
Special Friends.
Yeah. Special Friends. It's a relatively newer show.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be made today because of, they don't want to depict that part of American history.
Yeah.
And plus it is entirely white.
And guess
basically.
what? It still goes on. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
It still happens, but it doesn't adhere to their fantasy, so they can't put it out. Really, really, really good show. It's I think this was like John Hamm's big break. It's the first thing that I really remember him from, and he was awesome in it as I forget his name. It was Draper something.
I don't remember. I never watched it much. It was not one of those shows that I never really got into.
His last name was Draper. I can't remember his first name, and I watched it probably I think it finished up 2014 or 15, and I've watched it then. So, awesome show. Check it out. Dave, your number 6, please.
So my number 6 is Porky's from 1981. Mark Arier, Wyatt Knight, Tony Ganios. If you've seen Porky's, you're going to know exactly what I mean. It's a total high school sexual joke festival. The jokes that they do, the shower scenes, the derogatory stuff they say about women.
Weren't they drilling holes into the...
They had a hole in the shower so they could look in the women's shower. they put certain appendages through the hole. Mrs. Ballbreaker, the female gym coach, when they're in the office, have they catch someone, how she can identify the person that did that. The picking on some of the Italian guys in it for their, being Italians. But the movie is funny. I know you don't. You never
I saw it.
Yeah. I love
It
that.
wasn't bad.
No, the one in Porky's 1 is great. 2 and 3 are not that great.
I think I've only seen 1 and 2.
But I love Porky's. But there is no way in God's green earth would that movie be made now. No way.
No.
No.
God, no. There's a lot of stuff from the 80s that they just wouldn't make today just because it's just too fun and it doesn't adhere to their fantasies.
My next one on the list is MASH, the movie MASH from 1970, then the TV series from 72 to 83. I mean, it had Alan Alda, Henry Morgan, Wayne Rogers, Mike Farrell, Loretta Swit, Elliot Gould, Donald Sutherland. No way. First off, you have a character in the movie in the first 2 seasons called Spear Chucker Jones.
Why do they call him Spear Chucker Jones?
He was a black guy, but he was a football player.
Oh, my goodness.
He was a quarterback. That would not be allowed. The jokes about women, how they were always trying to catch him going in the showers. The drinking, how they drank to keep the war off their minds. The picking on everybody. Everybody. But it's comedy that was around wartime. If you're in the military, there's a certain comedy that you do. If anybody ever wants to watch what real military comedy is, there's a channel you can actually go on YouTube. They just do clips, but there's that you have to subscribe to it. It's called Vet TV. And just dark military humor. They were more on the lighter side, but it was about, you were doing things to block out what's going on. And they would not allow that. No way. Mm-hmm. No way.
I would say MASH was absolutely my grandfather's favorite show. Yep. I've never watched it in order, but I've seen so many episodes out of order. Never saw the movie. Didn't even really know, but the movie came first, right?
Yeah, in 1970.
And then the show. Yep. I didn't know that. And I've never seen the movie.
It takes place about the Korean War, but it was actually stuff that they saw in the Vietnam War, but because they were just coming out of Vietnam, so they didn't want to link it to Vietnam, so they had it as the Korean War.
Oh, okay.
And I highly recommend watching the movie MASH. In the TV series, I've watched every episode hundreds of times. I love that TV show.
Yeah. Great show.
But no way.
I've seen them. I've seen a lot. Don't know the order.
Yep.
All right. So my number 4, I went with Married with Children, 1987, and Ed O'Neill's legendary performance as Al Bundy, as a man's man.
Yep.
Who had no problem telling anybody and everybody exactly what he thought.
Yep.
And his complete lack of a filter and nothing being off limits. He was fantastic. But honestly, he would be rejected by anybody who puts pronouns in their bios.
He'd be gone. There's no way. No way.
There's just like no way. And yeah, I mean, he was the main offender. Just about everything in that show they would have problems with.
Yep.
But again, awesome show. Right. Worth the binge.
Watch it.
Number 3, Tropic Thunder, 2008. Kirk Lazarus. Played brilliantly by Robert Downey Jr.
Yep.
Dons blackface to portray Sergeant Lincoln Osiris.
Yep.
I mean, this movie is really probably one of the funniest movies in the last 20 years. It's I don't think of anything that has come out since then that I would say was funnier. And there is no way that movie would be picked up today.
Well,
America has lost its sense of humor.
It's also about the mental disability they were picking on in the movie.
Drug addiction.
The drug addiction stuff with
homophobia
Jack Black.
stuff.
Yeah, Jack Black with his drug addiction.
Al Pacino and what the hell was his name? That guy from NSYNC. Lance.
Yeah. Tom Cruise, one of Tom Cruise's best roles.
Yeah. Nick Nolte was hilarious, and Danny McBride was awesome. That movie was star-studded. but it was kind of low key, star studded. But it was hysterical.
When I was watching that movie, I did not know that was Tom Cruise. I had a feeling it was, and I just, as he got going and I could see certain things, I'm like, that's Tom Cruise.
I watched that movie with my youngest sister, who has asthma, and after it was over, she was like, "Dee, that movie almost killed me," because she was laughing so much.
Yeah, it's great.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Your number 4, please, sir.
My number 4 is Animal House from 1978.
One of the best movies of all time.
Of all time. One of the best comedies of all time. It would never be allowed to be made today.
No.
With the hazing in college, the racial jokes, the sexual jokes, the drinking, the drug use, smoking, no way. There is the suicide joke, not suicide, where he said his girlfriend died, and that's how he got to get that other girl.
Yeah.
The whole older woman with the younger college kid. There's no way.
The way that they were super intimidated in that black bar.
There is no way that movie would be made. There is no way. But it's one of the best comedies of all times from 1978.
Again, written by Howard Ramis. He had a big part in that.
John Belushi. That's all you have to say. He was great.
Anything with him.
Yeah.
He wouldn't make it today.
1941.
An underrated Spielberg gem.
Yeah.
Severely underrated.
Yep. And
John Candy was in it too.
Yeah. And my next one is All in the Family. We just pretty much went over All in the Family. Carol O'Connor, Gene Stapleton, Rob Reiner, Sally Struthers. Rob Reiner is now a very, very, very far left individual. I imagine he wouldn't even say he was in that show because that would offend his friends and people that didn't know that.
You know, speaking of that, with the whole like I said earlier, with like Fisher Stevens being like, he said that he's like sorry that he was in Short Circuit and all. They tried to get Robert Downey Jr. to say that he regrets being in it, and he wouldn't bite.
But when you have
he basically told him, "Hey guys, it was a movie, and I really enjoyed
you have
making
black actors that came out and said that's one of the funniest things they've ever seen."
Yeah.
Because they're not offended by it.
Don't apologize to these nuts.
Right.
Don't be like, "Oh, I am so sorry. I need to do better." No, I was an actor. It was a role offered to me. I thought that I did a pretty good job, and the movie did really well.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry that it hurt your feelings.
Yeah. There you go.
Is it my turn?
Yep.
My number 2, Dave, I went with, and this movie would be very problematic today, but screw 'em. Blazing Saddles.
Everything and anything.
1974. You know, the last one that you did was one of the greatest comedies of all time. This one would be right there with it.
Oh, yeah.
Stand shoulder to shoulder with it. One of the funniest movies of all time wouldn't be received well today because of its extremely racist jokes. And they were, and nobody gave a shit. It was hysterical.
But Mel Brooks in that movie, in a lot of his movie, is an equal opportunity. He
doesn't
goes
care.
after everybody.
He goes after everyone. Awesome.
That movie is a classic, and it's funny, and I watch it probably every couple of years.
Oh, yeah.
And I laugh just as hard now as I did 25, 30 years ago.
And they dropped the N-word in there. Hard R.
Yeah. Where are the white women at?
In 2006, luckily, before the world lost its mind, it was selected for preservation in the National Film Registry until they throw it out.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the powers that be want to rewrite history.
Yep.
And that movie just never, ever existed. It'll get... I need to buy that on like 4K because that's a movie that I could see going, being like the same locker Song of the South.
Oh, yeah.
And my number 1, and this one's a little bit different, The Lord of the Rings, 2001.
Well, one of the 11.
I just don't think that Hollywood has it in it to make a movie like this. No. They would just be too afraid to do an accurate adaptation. Now, you could hire the right writers and the right producers and bring in a great director and who is willing to hire book accurate cast.
But they won't.
But they won't. I mean, you just
they proved that with Rings of Power.
You just look at not the Lord of the Rings, just Rings of Power.
Yeah, they
and their T-shirt armor and their
it's just bad.
That show really is like, I know I'm going to have to watch it eventually, and I don't want to because I tried to.
Don't.
And I couldn't get through. Well,
hate watch it.
Yeah, it's just going to be a hate watch.
Same as The Acolyte. I highly recommend you hate watch The Acolyte.
Well, we're going to talk about that a little bit in a few weeks because the last episode's coming out, what, next week?
Next week.
And I'll probably watch it all in a night or two. I mean, I don't know if I could do the full, what is it, 8?
8 episodes.
I don't know if I could do the full 8 in one sitting because I'd probably...
You'll go insane.
I'd probably walk into the road and lie down.
You'll go insane.
You know, just thank God Peter Jackson made
yeah.
that masterpiece when he did.
So my number 2 is Tropic Thunder. We've
Awesome.
already gone over it.
Awesome.
It's a great movie. And my number 1 is Blazing Saddles.
Awesome.
From 1974. Great movie. Classic of all, one of the classic comedies of all time.
An all-time?
And we have to stop with this getting butthurt attitude over everything in this day and age. And that's what it is.
You need to stop saying that's offensive and start saying, I find that offensive.
Don't watch it.
Ricky Gervais said that, and it makes so much sense, okay? Just because you find it offensive doesn't mean the world at large will find it offensive.
His last speech at the Oscars when he got done,
Golden Globes.
I'm sorry, was classic.
Yeah.
Where he went after everybody. He says, I don't care.
That opening monologue,
Yeah.
I still watch that. I probably watch that once or twice a year.
I don't
Just
care.
like put it on, listen to it for like 10, 15 minutes.
I don't care what you think. That's pretty much what he was telling me.
Look at the last couple people that they've had do
they're-
the Golden
they're-
Globes.
Just throw it.
Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. They are not even has-beens. They were literally never was.
Right. So that was our top 10 movies or TV shows that could not be made in this day and age.
That's my list.
So let us know what you think, either via email or comment on YouTube. And our next video's topic is going to be actually the top 10 animated movies.
Yeah, we want to stop being so depressed.
Yeah, we're going back to fun
Well,
stuff.
we're going to be a little depressing because we're going to talk a little bit about the Acolyte. Just touch it a little bit,
Yeah.
but
our next one is top 10 animated movies, which I'm looking forward to. I started working on that today, and I've got 30 on there, and I got to get that down to 10 with 2 honorable mentions. That's going to be tough.
so 10 with 2 on that's 12.
Yeah.
So you need to get rid of how many? 18?
Yeah, 18 of them. That's a lot.
Maths.
So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this show. Dave, you got anything else to say before we let the people go?
Your Gatorade looks good.
It was actually very good. Nothing else?
No, I mean, I wasn't overly thrilled about our last episode. I think we'll retouch it eventually
Later on.
down the line with a bit more research. But if you want to watch a great episode on DEI, I was telling God before the show, the Despot of Antrim, I think that's how you say his name, it's like an hour and 52 long minute video on DEI. It's phenomenal. The dude's one of the most underrated guys on YouTube. Doesn't even have 100,000 subs yet, which is ridiculous.
But he does a lot of research.
He does a lot of research. He does the Worst of Woke Awards. Anything he does, he puts a ton of research into, and it's definitely worth the watch. So if you want to watch a great DEI video, watch his. It came out right after we did ours, and kind of had me hanging my head in shame. And it's this guy definitely put a lot more work into it.
Those guys, that's their job.
Yeah, that is their job. And I wish that we could do that full time, but
Well, you never know.
it is what it is.
So with that
Maybe
being
someday.
said, guys, I hope everybody enjoyed this episode. Again, like I said, if you have anything you want to say, send it to our email or comment on the YouTube video.
Yeah, we would love to hear from you.
Get a hold of Patrick or Rebecca here at
God.
Okemo Valley TV. Tell them what you think. With that being said, I hope everybody has a great night and take care.
Deuces.